So without further ado, we've got Alundra versus Taz today on this lovely equal footing map. It's pretty much equal tree layout here, you can see. Although that's not quite equal. That's not quite equal. Anyway, we've got Alundra as the Babylonian, player 1, the blue player today. And Taz as our player 2, our red Egyptian player today. So we're interested to see what we go here with. Looks like Taz is going to open up with an early barracks. Alundra, whoops, doing the same. Let me delete it. Let me delete it. Yeah, let me delete it. So we got good luck, have fun, Ty, you two in the channel, in the chat. So nice to see some good manner. Alundra's actually gone straight past this in order to try and scout out his opponent's base. Taz already gone for the barracks, but Alundra hasn't actually seen it just yet. But he can probably assume that that's what his opponent's going to open with, considering the map. Quite a short rush distance on equal footing, especially if someone takes a frontside hunt. And there is probably going to be another hunt here, just judging by that map, that tile set underneath. The terrain. So Alundra getting some early spears, and looks as though Taz is as well, but it looked like Alundra was rallied straight up here. Yeah, he is too actually, so he wants to get straight over there and put the pressure on immediately, because these Egyptian spearmen, quite cheap and disposable in comparison, 1 less damage and 90 less health per unit, and yeah, they are 15 resources cheaper overall. So 1 to 1, the Babylonian spearmen will eat them for breakfast. I was unmuted, wasn't I? Yeah, I am. Cool. I don't have to repeat 5 minutes of ramblings. So we've got a storehouse now coming up for Taz, and a little engage going down on Alundra. Confident to take a fight. It's going to be 3 versus 3 here with the scout and support, but like I said, the difference in value, as well as Alundra microing back this low spearman, so that's good for him. Keeping him alive that little bit longer, but he needs to maintain focus here, because Taz is doing a better job at focusing down the low units at the moment. Although Alundra will get another spearman here, and is starting to actually attack Taz's gatherers here, so that's going to be a bit drastic for him. He's going to have to come and clean this up quickly before the spearman goes down, because if he loses her, then suddenly Alundra has dealt quite a fair bit of damage early on, but it looks as though Taz able to hold for now. Population counts, looks as though 13, 16 is the villager counts, but there's the 3 ox carts, so it's even in villager production. Sorry, Ziggurat now going down for Alundra, as well as the Templar Ra for Taz. So Taz actually empowering this to get this out faster. His villager is going to train 3 seconds slower, so that's one of the downsides with the Egyptians, but he is going to beat Alundra to getting that building out. So actually getting a storehouse now, and going to work on getting some stone as well. But he needs to get a house. He's population capped at the moment, so he's got to take loom and throw down a house now, because he's not actually got anything in his villager queue. So whoops, that's a bit dangerous for him. Has the food to be able to get loom or town watch at this stage, which are both pretty useful upgrades really, because loom means that if you ever get raided, your villagers can just tank 2 or 3 extra shots, because they've got an extra 60 health, and with the town watch you've just got a nice increase to your line of sight, so you just get to tell what's going on. Archery range coming up first, rather than the stables for Alundra's Babylonian here, so he wants to punish Taz for getting spearmen out in anticipation of lancers. And there is some more spearmen coming in, so realistically Taz probably could have just got a handful of axemen just to clean up any spearmen left on the field. He's already got some spearmen, and you'd probably want to scout before you commit to more of them, because they aren't really going to be that useful against us if they can get bowmen as well. So yes, you can follow up with camels, but ideally you probably don't want to be too slow on being able to do so. You don't want to be overcommitting to any of the infantry that you get in this matchup as either player. And Alundra actually getting Spearman Champion, so he must be intending to get more of them eventually. Because he's only actually got 5 of them out in the field. And it wouldn't make sense to just get the upgrade for just them. He's probably going to intend to get more Spearmen behind this. Because he's probably sensing that there's going to be camels coming from the Egyptian player today, from Taz. He's actually just going to look at taking another hunt. So the bowmen have now entered the mix, and they've got this nice Argos Champions bow, so it's this nice big Yumi bow looking thing. The scout doing a little bit of harass here. So that has actually distracted Alundra, so he did actually stop to have a look there. So that's always what you get out of doing that little cheesy harass with your scout. It does next to no damage, but it does mean that your opponent will from time to time get distracted by it. But at the same time, as Taz left himself too exposed here, he's only got the one Spearman. Alundra's pushing up. He does have this little force here, but Alundra is even in population and, yeah, has a slightly bigger force over his opponent's side of the map. There is all these axemen here in tow, though, so they can clean this up. But there's no slingers, there's no camels in the mix. So these bowmen are going to be able to get a lot of free fire off in any engage going down here. In the meantime, it looks as though Alundra is pushed off this hunt, so he isn't actually gathering any food, but he's got plenty in the bank for the time being. Taz is going to probably lose a house here and probably lose all this infantry. Here come the slings, but there's going to be no front line for the slinger, basically. So these bows are going to be able to chip it over the house and pick him off just about. So without a bit of a mixed comp here, it's going to be tough for Taz, because the slinger's going to be taking a lot of direct fire, taking damage and trying to get damage off on the spearmen, but they're dealing next to no damage to them. They need to really be hitting the bowman. Meantime, Taz is harassing in Alundra's base, forcing him to keep these ox carts mobile. He's had to rally off wood, food and gold now, but he has been cleaned up there. So Taz has done some nice harass, but Alundra is doing what seems to be nicer harass. All 3 bowmen going down about the same time there, because both the town centers and the spearmen were not focusing the same target. But it looks as though Alundra is a little bit better off. He's got a bit more in the bank. 29 villages to 22, and he won't have 7 ox carts. He's got 5. Yeah, so he is actually up by a villager or 2 at this stage. Alundra, a little bit more in the bank too. Getting pharmacology, really useful upgrade. Taz doing quite a bit of distance gathering there, and he didn't actually get a storehouse for his stone. So Taz actually has floated 600 stone, as well as never actually got a storehouse for his stone mine. But he's actually not really that far behind at all, weirdly enough. I suppose the score is largely backed up by that. But in a sense, Alundra able to really surge forward in terms of economy, because he didn't overgather stone by 600, only by 300. Actually, no, he hasn't even taken the town centre yet. And, oh, Taz is actually still harassing him here. A couple of spearmen, they aren't going to last very long, but they are going to get a good read on the lancers. So Taz is going to go for his own stables instead of committing to another barracks. He's going to be able to get camels out and deny the lancers. Alundra moving out now. Bit of a population lead at 15. So 35 villages to 29, but I think that's going to be pretty much even now. I think Alundra is going to be up to 6 ox carts now. No, he's on 5 still. So he's still one village a pop ahead. A lot less in the bank, a lot less in queue than his opponent though, because he's only just gone out of being housed. So Taz actually evening up the population, but losing a couple of houses here because they're only right on the edge of the TC fire. There are a couple of lancers coming in now to try and track down this Priestess Ra, because she is worth 100 gold. So if Alundra can snipe her, then Taz is going to be pretty crippled, but he doesn't really have a lot of front line here, and Alundra, his mixed composition has really cleaned this one up, I think, and Taz plummeting now in score. He doesn't have a lot of food in reserve. Emergency tower going up, and it's a nice spot for it to be in, but the Priestess isn't actually empowering it, so it's not going to finish terribly quickly, and there's only the one barracks here pumping out the unmounted units, only the one stables here pumping out camels, who are taking fire from the spearmen instead of coming around and trying to harass the bowmen. So this is a nice amount of range defense here from Taz, but Alundra just has so much in his base at the moment. I think Taz might have enough to hold here. The 2 towers is going to be enough, but at the same time, Alundra is still ahead by quite a bit, and all this time Taz isn't gathering out of anything out here. Has lost a couple of villages in the process too, so 42 villages to 29 in favour of Alundra at this point, and he is still sending in units. He's got the houses down. Taz has plenty of houses up at this stage, actually, with these defensive houses here. I'm going to try and go for another barracks, but perhaps not able to get that up because it's going to get seen quite quickly. Perhaps if he chucks one up here, in fact he does actually do just that. Getting some houses, getting some farms tucked away too, because he's got just enough wood to spend on those, but he doesn't have conditioning, so it's going to take a while for all these units to get out. He's only building the barracks with one worker. He is going to get another one on there, so that's good. But yeah, he probably needs to get conditioning considering he's got that many units queued up. He could take conditioning, pump them out, and make up for the time in relatively quick time and hold off from here. But he's already down on the back foot, down 30 population, 47 to 29 in village accounts. So Alundra now pulling well ahead on that, and these gardens are going to play a bit of a factor in that because it does mean he does have reduced train time for everything. And there's more units amassing here for Alundra. Shooting up to 90 population. Taz still down by about 30. Getting a very defensive setup to his base here. And this is going to make it hard for him to actually gather from that stone line, but there's not a lot left here. And it might actually help in being able to throw up another defensive tower if he feels the need to. This isn't too bad of an engage here for him, but at the same time Alundra's bowmen are well away from these towers over here, so Taz does need to try and kite him back through here, and he just isn't going to have the units to be able to do anything but that. He's not actually getting the good slinger tagging onto the bowman, which he really needs to do so because there is so many there. And I think Alundra might have broken him here. GG. So Alundra is victorious in game number 1 today. Very solid Babylonian play. So there's always one difference because of the ox cart, but eventually with Taz having a slight faltering in a couple of stages, yeah, falling a bit behind on the work account there. Some good harass, some good pressure there from Alundra. Taz trying some good pressure of his own, but it just wasn't enough. And GG, well played. That's game number 1 today.